Hello everybody, welcome back to the Maverick channel. And if you're new to this channel, we talk about crypto. We talk about a little bit of finance. We like to talk about tech sometimes, but our main focus is crypto because we like to look at the trends to see where crypto is going, where NFT is tying into the metaverse, where is equities, derivatives tying into this, where is the financial system tying into this, where is the sort of fragmented financial system that we're looking at right now. Okay guys, I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but actually what I want to talk about is that you can see here the IRS special agent, crypto is the future, but there are mountains of fraud. I could say one thing, that despite all the money I've lost or made in the crypto space, one thing I can say is that I really don't need an IRS agent looking over me. I'm willing to learn from my mistakes, and hopefully those mistakes will make me better. And I think that's all I'll say. I mean, of course there's fraud in this ecosystem, just like other ecosystems. The dollar fiat ecosystem has the most fraud, obviously, with the Swiss bank accounts and even other things that are more hidden. So it's not a very good argument. That's all I could say. But what I was trying to say is that we're facing inflation. Inflation in the US is at 7% right now. And what the hope lies into, I mean, look at this. The crypto market is red, okay? But think about it this way. Imagine if all these are financial sectors that are creating a fragmented financial system. So currently the current financial system could be determined by one person saying that they're going to raise or lower the interest rates. And this is going to potentially increase things like inflation, affect the stock market, affect the bond market, affect mortgages. Just one person. So don't think of this as a market collapsing or whatever. Look at these boxes. This is coin360.com. Look at this and think about, what if in the future we have a fragmented kind of financial system where one ecosystem, and let's just say this is a whole ecosystem, one ecosystem collapses, is facing imminent destruction, but there are other ecosystems that are thriving. Just like you can see here, crypto seems like it's facing imminent destruction. Guys, I think this is where the best opportunities lie, but it's not financial advice. But you can see others are in green. These are stable coins. So we can have different fragmented economic systems where we're not just relying on one straight financial system that could easily collapse and take down everything with it. So I think cryptocurrency creates more options in where people can park their money or their finances, or decide what kind of assets they want to hold, and they're not just be held to one type of asset. I think there's some amazing opportunities that are going to emerge from the crypto space, and I always urge you to stick around and keep paying attention because there's some cool stuff that's going to emerge. But before I continue with this video, let me go through these threads of tweets that I think are going to put quite a few things in perspective. The first one is "Liquidity is king." Guys, I thought this was easy Binance. I thought I would look at it in another way, or maybe you could liquid farm and tokens. But guys, it is what it is. If you hold a chunk of stablecoins right now, this right here is an amazing opportunity. Last one I'll read. Breaking: the Fed will leave interest rates unchanged for now. So that's how the whole thing ended. People were buying the rumor, others selling the rumor. Now that whole fiasco with the Federal Reserve is kind of simmered down. People are not sure whether to buy the news or sell the news because Bitcoin has already tanked anyway. So it's a confusing time in the market, okay? Now I think I've already talked about the IRS, the special agent who wants to check out fraud. There's a quote here: "We're just seeing mountains and mountains of fraud in this area." Of course the fraud is there, but I truly believe that people need to learn from their own mistakes, and then they can learn to evolve and make their own better financial decisions so they can become those so-called accredited investors where you need to be worth $1 million. But I think learning from your mistakes can easily make you an accredited investor, because then you develop your own strategies. Let's look at this news article here. Biggest winners and losers from the Fed's interest rate decision. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. I'm just going to point out to allude to what this person was trying to say. So the Federal Reserve announced that it's keeping interest rates steady following its January 25th to 26th meeting. So I guess that's why the markets are kind of balancing out right now. So leaving the federal funds rate at a range of 0 to 0.25%. So, but despite the inaction in rates for now, Fed watchers are expecting the central bank to hike rates at a number of times in 2022. So with high probability that it does so at its next meeting in March. So basically, if you're things like mortgages, okay, if you have a fixed sort of rate, you can engage in the mortgage ecosystem. Oh, if the rate is low now, you can get mortgages, and if the rate is hiked, then if you got the mortgage at a fixed rate, then you take advantage of that. Same things with student loans and things like that. So this article sort of talks about the good and bad of whatever decision the Federal Reserve might make. So people with mortgages, home equity loans, stock investors. Actually, someone that said that debt might be seen as an asset and some income streams might be seen as a liability. I think that's alluding to the sort of accelerating interest rate or the accelerating inflation that's happening right now due to the ongoing economic conundrums that are happening and the decisions that are left to a few people to make. So basically, it depends on your financial education on the way you can take advantage of the current situation. So one person was saying, stop paying your student loans because you have a fixed rate. I think I heard that from Andreas Antonopoulos. If you have a fixed rate in these rates, just don't pay your student loans, wait out for a couple of years, and inflation is going to take care of it. By the time you have to pay them, they're not that much worth anyway. So there's different ways of looking at this situation. There's different opportunities that you can seek out in these weird times where everyone is sort of scared and they don't know where to put their assets, where to allocate their money. So we can see this article here, ban less likely. Putin says crypto mining has its advantages in Russia. So Putin says that a surplus of electricity and well-trained personnel give Russia a competitive advantage in the crypto mining space. So I guess this is also good for the crypto space. Putin is not about to completely ban cryptocurrencies, but rather or regulate them blindly, but rather they're trying to be progressive to see where this goes. With countries like El Salvador actually adopting Bitcoin standard as their main currency, it won't be a surprise if another country actually announces to do that this year, and then that's going to create a cascading effect of all other countries that want to bail themselves out from the overarching eye of the IMF, the central banks out there, and so on. You know, the European Central Bank. So many smaller banks and countries being controlled by this. So democratization of the countries themselves and controlling their own financial systems, I think, is going to be important as we try to sort of levitate into this new defragmented financial system. I think that's pretty cool. So there was this short article here. It's about Fetch, one of the companies I like to talk about here, a crypto company, but I'll talk about them a little bit more as the video goes on. So top 10 expensive yet profitable cryptocurrencies to buy in 2022. This is obviously not financial advice. This was published by analyticsinsight.net, and of course they talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Tether, Solana, Avalanche, Axie Infinity. Somewhere Coin is a coin, I've never really looked into it, but it keeps popping up. So I guess representing the meme coin standard, Fetch.AI and USD dollars. So that's sort of stable currencies. So it's just these types of tokens and the groups that they're in, you know. So that might mean that, you know, this could be a hint for you to sort of go do your own research into these ecosystems. Of course, those that have been in crypto space, you know, Ethereum, smart contracts, Binance Coin, or the Binance Smart Chain, that whole ecosystem has grown to the point that I think it has the current most transactions on any blockchain currently. Because if you look at their biggest decentralized exchange, it has currently in the bear market, it has over 360,000 users. And when you look at like Uniswap, which is one of the biggest exchanges on Ethereum, still has very few users. Of course, because Ethereum has very high gas fees as opposed to the Binance Smart Chain, which is actually leveraging Cosmos and Tendermint. So another different consensus algorithm, so which is working out for them. Though of course, many people argue that it's very centralized, but the centralization, decentralized argument in the crypto space is very, very subjective. Okay, so I wanted to also briefly look at this article here, and I agree with the sentiment here. So FTX.US president says crypto derivatives would be the primary focus in 2022. I've talked about this in the past. I think bridging that gap, a clear gap with derivatives and with the crypto world, because crypto basically helps people easily to get banked. So it doesn't matter, anyone in the world can easily do that. You have a mobile phone, you have an internet connection, you can easily do that. So if the whole world now all of a sudden has access to equities and all these other financial instruments that are spread out, that are existing in other parts of the world, you can engage with these without necessarily having to go there or go through some other stringent requirements to actually acquire these things, then obviously I completely agree with this. Crypto is going to completely change this space in the way we look at investment and so many other things. So there was this there was a sort of an audio podcast between the CEO of Fetch.AI and another person. I can see Ishan Pandey. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph of this. I'm the CEO and founder of Fetch.AI, which is my fourth major venture. Prior to starting Fetch, I worked to bring an entirely new way of thinking to the steel recycling sector. So building my company METTALEX from startup to £40 million in 6 years. I was also one of the first investors in DeepMind, which Google eventually acquired, and an early investor in Plume Grid, the cloud solution provider acquired by VMware. I'm currently focused on bridging the gap between blockchain and the AI sector with Fetch.AI, an AI-powered blockchain that allows businesses and individuals to use multi-agent system-based solutions to solve complex problems or coordination tasks. So of course, those that are new to this space, to the Fetch ecosystem, these are I think one of the biggest companies. First of all, they're leveraging their solutions on the Cosmos ecosystem, and they're building targeted or specific, they're called autonomous economic agents, but these specific sort of modules of software that can be customized to act as digital assistants on behalf of machines, on people, and so on. So this is kind of a podcast. I'm going to link this in the description so you can look at this to kind of look at his mindset and where he's going at. So this company is doing some amazing stuff for those that don't know about it. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover, one of the sister companies of Fetch.AI, which is METTALEX, has made a massive announcement. So METTALEX S&P Global Platts data licensing agreement allows industrial grade price data feeds for commodities within DeFi. So METTALEX has actually partnered with this company to get the price feeds. So January 27, 2022, Singapore, London, METTALEX, a decentralized commodity exchange derivative exchange, today announced a data licensing agreement with S&P Global Platts, the leading global independent provider of information analytics and benchmark prices for the commodities and energy markets, that will facilitate the provision of industrial grade price data feeds for commodities within the decentralized finance ecosystem and garner blockchain efficiencies. So we believe that the wide range of commodity assets will eventually become tradable on chain, said Humayun Sheikh, METTALEX's founder and CEO. So METTALEX's mission is to advance this process by enabling the market to manage risk, particularly in new niche commodity markets. So guys, I've done many videos about METTALEX before, and they're focusing on commodities and derivatives and all that, and they continue to partner with strategic partners that are especially focused on getting price feeds, because we know in the crypto space, that's why blockchains like Chainlink are very popular, because it's very important to have these oracle systems where you can get accurate price feeds, because it prevents things like flash loan attacks in DeFi. So it's very, very imperative that a blockchain ecosystem or a company setting out to be a leader in the DeFi ecosystem gets their price feeds right. That's the first thing, because anything else is fancy, anything else is nice, the user interface and all that, but the price is why people are there. So it has to be accurate. Once you solve that, once you eliminate all the problems with that, then the sky's the limit from that point. All right, guys, today's video was a bit short, was a bit convoluted, but I think there was some very important information nuggets to take out of today's video. But the main point I was trying to make is I think derivatives and the emergence of crypto assets is going to really change the way we see finance today. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.